Hi guys, Dogre here with a new video, and this video will be my first video since I came back from holiday. It was really nice and it felt good to be away from everything gaming related, but also just World of Warcraft. And do have a lot of missing. I miss a lot of World of Warcraft. I miss retail. I miss Pandaria. I miss Classic even. Although a lot of the miss is just I guess memories from when it was pretty fun and good. But anyways, we are here to talk about a specific subject, which is the participation being very low and dropping despite the season end. That's a Reddit post that someone have posted, which I did feel like I wanted to talk about it. And he is not completely wrong. Like, we're supposed to have a peak of participation, which is not already, like, it's not always true. Like, end of the season is not like the peak, but we have a resurgence of players that are normally not logging until the end of the season. And we have currently 18k round played daily with 3000 shuffle lobbies, which is really low. Like, if you count the amount of characters playing, and some of those characters are like doubles. For example, a healer can easily do 6 matches in a day, so it's 6 lobbies, and obviously like it's times 2, like again the amount of rounds. And I feel like it's pretty low if you consider, for example, the first month of the World Within, which is 85k rounds played, which is like times 5 of what we had, something like that. And October we had 30k, which again, the tourists are gone and that's normal. But now we are like at 18k and it only goes lower. And the queue times are like not okay yet. Like, I'm going to read all of the comments and give me like my own take. I can only guess for others, but for me 100% because of the queue times. I don't want to spend more time queuing than playing. Awful reward structure is another reason. Even though 2v2 shuffle would be a shit show, I think it would get a lot of people playing again. Also, an overhaul of PvP rewards. And that's true. And here the same. The PvP gearing system is now great, but the combat speed and flow is atrocious. I cannot imagine a lack of healers is helping PvP as well. And then we have like a lot of the usual stuff. And there is like not really a lot of people currently defending solo shuffle or retail. It's very hard to defend something that is kind of undefendable. I think I have seen like a message from someone. I don't know what guy it was, but imagine you are playing PvP for the first time, right? Like, you're a new player, you're new blood, and you decide for some reason to PvP on World of Warcraft, and you get met by a 30-minute queue. Would you just like bother with actually queuing up again? The same, like, even if it's super fun, right? The same can be said for like a Steam game. If you're like downloading a Steam game, you're unaware of the amount of people playing the Steam game, and it seemed like a fun game, and you're queuing up and you get like a 10, 20, 30-minute queue. Would you just even bother like learning the game or like having fun with the game if you know that there is like no one playing it, or like it feels like no one is playing, or the matchmaking is so bad that they don't match you fast enough? Then you would just not bother. You would just like uninstall, and that's for a free game, for example, on Steam. You have plenty of free games that are like kind of barren and wasted on Steam, and retail kind of feels the same right now. And that's like one of the reasons why I have like a lot of like detachments from solo shuffle. I think if you can go back to the videos I've made in Dragonflight, like season 1, I have been one of the most content creator hyped. I would say like I did a lot of hype videos, right? Like pumping solo shuffle videos, guides about it, guides of classes, and try to like get people playing solo shuffle because I really loved the solo queue system. Although solo shuffle doesn't really matter how it is, it could be a solo queue 3v3 for all it matters. but it is a solo queue that I have demanded since the beginning of time. And once we had it, Season 1 Dragonflight, then they did a lot of nerfs to the MMR. They did a lot of nerfs towards the healer MMR, and we have what we have right now. A complete and utter bad show, let's call it like that. And it is just not what it used to be, and used to for 1 or 2 months. And for me right now, I detached from social and saying to myself, like, look, if I play on retail, it is in no way with social in mind. Even solo QRBG, which is called Battleground Blitz, I don't use that word, that sentence, like, that's not for me. Solo QRBG, even that I was super excited about. I thought the queue times were going to be very, very drastically improved, but it is just not the case. Because again, healers don't want to queue, and we have with retail a game that is really centered towards the trinity, which is tank, DPS, healer for PvE, and for PvP we have DPS and healer, and the ratio from healer to DPS is still too big. That makes that you need too many healers to give the DPSers something to do, and it's very selfish as well for the DPSers because they want to DPS. So obviously it's very hard to get them to heal, and the same for me right now, right? I don't want to heal on retail because I feel like healing in retail sucks, while I can heal no problem in Mist of Pandaria Classic or in Cataclysm before that, or even Wrath, because I feel like the gameplay is different. It's not like about the fast paced, it's not even about that, it's about impact and about feeling comfortable about how someone gets burst down and your ability to do something to it. And yes, the CC in Mist Pandaria Classic is obnoxious, but you do get, like, it gets normalized in time. I think in retail, again, and that's my opinion, the CC is as bad as Mist Pandaria, although in Mist Pandaria the CC is more long for what it is, while in retail the CC is maybe the same duration total, but it is like chopped into 5 other CCs in the meantime. So you have the same duration, but it seems like it is different because you don't get a hit by a 8-second fear. But obviously, you now get hit by a 6-second fear on retail, but you get like 2 micro CCs inside of it. So you do also get 8-second CC from it. But a lot of people are like not considering it as a real CC, but it is real CC whenever you're getting sundered by an enhancement shaman. And even though it's like 1.5 seconds of incapacitate, it is still enough to make you lose control of your character where you cannot do anything. So that's like one of the things that makes me like, man, retail is like okay, but like there is that and that and that is going wrong. And then as a healer, I mean, so, and for me, you cannot make me go healer when I'm really wanting to play DPS. Like, am I playing a shore or am I playing a game that I want to have fun with? Like, is it, do I really want, like, do I have to play this game? Like, do I have to play healer to get like normal queues? Like, I don't know. It feels like it turns into a job, and that's why like I kind of stepped away from it, and I wanted to play 2s and 3s. But since the ladder is so deflated because of like solo shuffle, solo RPGs, the people are just not queuing because the LFG system is sucky and it's not as social as on the classic servers. And classic servers, their LFG system is really bad, but the social environment is a lot bigger than on retail, so it's way easier to find someone to play with for some reason, although it should not be the case, right? Retail should be easier to play with people, but it is just not the case. And I can't really like make you understand that without you playing the classic servers the normal way, with like socializing, getting into a guild, and like finding people to play with. You cannot really do the same on retail, in my eyes. I tried it and it just doesn't stick. You don't really find people playing with each other right now. So that's one of the problems. And then you have obviously a reward system where they're patting on their back with the new mount recolor that they did for season 3, which is fine. I like the purple like astral effect, and it makes me want to play 3v3. That's true, but remember, guys, it is a reward that is set for very specific amount of people playing threes. You do not have 10k glads every season, not right now at least. It's too deflated. There was a time in Shadowlands where you had a lot of people playing, getting glad. This time around, it is just not the case. So obviously, I'm okay with the mouse recolor, but I'm excited for the people that will get it. I don't even know if I will be able to get it in season 3, because again, 3v3 and 2v2 is more about like 2. You don't even get a like you don't even get a glad mount in 2v2, so that really sucks. But in 3v3, it's about like the Battle.net connection and who you're playing with, not only how good you are as a player, because it is more of a synergy comp and grinding set, and not like only you as an ability to climb yourself out with like plebs pretty much. That's why you don't see a lot of carries in threes with 2 plebs. Generally, it's like a duo, like 2 guys that are carrying like one like random guy. In 2v2, you can carry someone pretty much. If you're playing Survival Hunter and that guy plays Disc Priest, the most likeliness is that you're going to win most matchups that requires just a CC duration of like 10 seconds. But in threes, it's not it's like not the same, and that's why like it's really different. Just very deflated, and I would like to see more rewards, obviously, but I think if people are like focused that much on rewards, it means that the gameplay loop is just not good. If people are like playing the game just basically because of a reward or rewarding, it means that the game is just not like good enough to keep you as a player after the rewards. Because I again assume that if the rewards are like grindable and you can get it, once you have get it, do you play the game again, or do you just stop and hop to the other game that is going to give you any reward sense? And that's the thing that I have like a big core about it, like the reward system and how people are like justifying not playing because of rewards. Yes, obviously MMR is also a reward. That's the only sensible reward that I would judge as something that would make the game better and have more players playing. But like strictly a mount, a tier set, or recolor or whatever is not going to keep players playing. They just are going to get the reward and then they're going to hop off. But MMR makes you rewarding like your skill set and wants to grind up, and that's a like again a thing by itself. But what I would say is obviously my idea about like playing a game is basically about the gameplay and having fun. Again, I can give you an example about League of Legends. League of Legends itself, there are like millions of players playing the game basically because of the gameplay loop and not because of the rewards, because the rewards are like only given at the end of the season. You do not have anything that is going to give you any reward while you're playing. You could like get boxes and loot boxes and keys and whatnot, but that's like something you would get by playing the normal game as well. There's nothing that is going to give you an incentive to queue ranked except having a bigger rank for bragging rights or for personal gain, right? For like, okay, I want to get diamond because that's my goal, or I want to get challenger, that's my goal. People are playing also about the gameplay because again, League of Legends MOBA, it's the biggest MOBA in the game, like in the gaming sphere. You have obviously Dota 2, which is the second one, and then the third one I would say Smite or something like that. World of Warcraft, the MMO, the PvP MMO, is the biggest that you can have, right? But for some reason, there's just no players that wants to play for the game enough to keep on playing the whole season. Even at the start of the season, the queue times are very big, or at the end of the season, it is also still very big. So I could talk hours and hours and hours about that, right? And a lot of people like, it's always the same. Like, you have streamers, and I cannot put myself into that because I already said multiple times that it is a dead game when you have 30-minute queues. But you have people, like again, there are people like saying like mob is the thing that makes retail dead. But MOP was not out 3 months ago and it was already dead. Like it's something that it already is the case. And you have like streamers that are like queuing with 2 or 3 accounts, and they're saying like that the game is not dead, and they're like having 40-minute queues and sometimes like hours queues, like because they're like at a high MMR, right? And the lower MMR you are, the longer queues they are as well, because it's like a pyramid. You have more players like around the 1600, 1700, 1800, and those queues are going to be a bit lower. But there is no incentive for you to grind up because you get like longer and longer queues. And if you are in a MMR system where like in an MMR range where you are like having bad games and you can improve, you cannot have enough time to improve to get back up to where you should be, at least like in the MMR range, because you're going to lose a lot of the time because of the queue times. So that really sucks. And that's something like as a whole that is too big to just ignore. You cannot ignore that again. And some people are saying like you need to have 2 accounts, one account for queuing up, a second account to queue up as well. Or for example, you play classic on one account and you play retail on the second account, or you have just one account and you like literally babysit the computer and you play another game, for example, or you do your chores or you do work. I personally, whenever I want to queue up League of Legends, Warzone, I don't know, World of Warcraft, I want to play that game. I don't want to like wait 30 minutes and do something else besides that game, because that's something like, again, I'm not wired like that. If I want to play something, I want to queue up right now. I don't want to like do busy work on something else. Like I don't want to waste time. That's basically wasting time in my eyes. And obviously you can be very productive in that 30-40 minute queue, because obviously in that 40-minute queue you could do your chores, you can do your work, you can do Excel sheets or whatever you want to do, or like grind transmogs or whatnot. But in that 40-minute queue, I personally would have like wanted to play at least 4 games into that 40-minute queue, because that's like basically four games, right? 10 minutes soul shuffles. Some soul shuffles go to 15 minutes, some even 20 minutes. But you're waiting 40 minutes. Like for example here, PvP for me into the World Thin was one of the best. Quitted because I don't want to sit 30-40 minute queues. Got only so much time to play per day. I'm not willing to spend my whole afternoon for 2 or 3 games. The idea of like having 40-minute queues and basically have a match that can go up to 15 minutes, and sometimes someone leaves and just is like a wasted 40 minutes, is just like dreadful to me. Like you cannot like justify it. Imagine you explain that to someone who plays Call of Duty, League of Legends, Dota, whatever, like Valorant, whatever game. Imagine you explain them that they have to sit 40-minute queues. And PvE has the same problem with Mythic Plus, by the way. Mythic Plus, people are sitting in the LFG system for a very long time if they don't have like the right meta spec. That really sucks as well. They actually need a solo queue system. But as a whole, there's only like a few solutions to make it lower. I already gave that multiple times. I give it for free here right now. You need a 2v2 solo shuffle. You can have a healer DPS or double DPS comp versus a double DPS comp, and that's set. You have fast queues. Obviously, some classes have benefits on that, like having like a healer with you, and sometimes you don't have a healer and that really sucks. Or you could have a 2v2 like bracket where only DPS plays. That's also like fine. That's one solution. The second solution is have a 3v3 bracket to be flexible. So it means that, for example, on League of Legends, you have that as well. It's a flex queue. You have also the solo duo queue. The 3v3 becomes solo queuable. It means that, again, if you are a solo player, you are going to have either a duo queue versus you or with you, or a triple solo queue versus a triple solo queue. And the matchmaking is going to regroup the players that are queued together and players that are queued solo. So it means if you're like a 3 stack, you're not going to face another a solo queue player, you're going to face another 3 stack. You're going to be a team versus a team. If you are a solo queue player, healer or DPS, you're going to either have a duo queue with you, which is going to end up with another duo queue versus you, or you're going to have a solo queue, like triple solo queue versus a triple solo queue. The queue times are going to be drastically lower. You're going to have only one bracket, so it will be more inflated because a lot of people are going to play on that bracket. Yes, it is going to be a crazy show at the end because the ladder is a bit weird, because you're going to have solo queue players being maybe higher or lower depending on like teams. If the teams are like very good, they're going to be higher MMR than the solo queue players. But as a whole, you're going to have more players playing that ladder, so you will have more spaces for rank 1s. You're going to have more spaces for glads, so that is not going to be affecting them. And even if they affected, you're not going to change the game based on the 0.1% anyways. Just make the game better for the 99.99%, right? And it's something that it should not be like a question or like hard to grasp. It is just like baseline. You need to play, you need to think about the hardcore players, the veteran players, the noob, and the casuals. You really need to regroup that. And if you have to sacrifice that 0.1% of satisfaction for the top levels, then so be it. At the end, the ladder really sucks if the casuals and the veterans and the noobs are not playing, because it doesn't push up the ratings higher. If like there's only like the hardcore great rank 1s and glads playing, the new glad just becomes 1.6k because everyone from glad range is going to be 1.6k. So they're going to be stuck at what we have right now in 2v2. For example, in 2v2, you're queuing at 2k. They're going to get a glad onto you because it just is what it is. There are just not enough casuals to push up the ladder to 2.4k. So the new glad range is 2k. And unfortunately, like again, that's something I'm not really 100% convinced, but I understand the feeling. If you have percentile rankings, that is not a problem, because you would not look at the number and feel bad about it. You would just look at the ladder and see, okay, what's your position onto it, and your reward is going to be calculated with the position you have on the ladder. That's not the case right now in retail. So if you're like 2k rated and the best one is 2.1k, too bad, you don't get glad because it's not 2.4k above, right? So that's really bad. But if you got glad at 2k, then you would not mind about the number you have on your screen, and you would not feel bad about it. You would get duelist at 1.6k, you would get elite at 1.8k, blah, blah, blah. That's like percentile thing. So even if it's deflated, which sucks, at least it doesn't suck that bad for all of the players. Even the noobs, they would get, again, a rank corresponding on the ladder, state of the ladder, and not state of the number that is written that is not up to date with the reality of the ladder. So that's the solution. Again, soul shuffle should be gone. So that like 6 round shit really sucks, because the healers have separate MMR. I already said that if the 3v3 ladder is together with solo queues, duo queues, and teams, if that is merged, the inflation is high. That's very good. You have healers being mixed with DPS, because basically it's your team versus my team. So it doesn't matter if you are a healer or a DPS. The same as League of Legends, you're not you're not punished because you're a top player versus a top player. No, you are like a team versus a team. You're just me versus me. It's not because I play support that I have to be matched with support MMR. You're matched with the team MMR. And yes, sometimes it feels bad because the support against you in League of Legends is just that much better compared to the support you are right now, and your team is equal to their team, but there is a mismatch between the roles. The same as in 3v3, your healer could be bad, but you as 2 DPS, you are very good compared to their DPS. That's something that just is what it is. That's the MMR, team MMR, and there is like a lot of games that are like using team MMR. But for some reason, healers are using a chess MMR, which is a 1v1. But the other DPSers are using a team MMR with like 2 DPS versus 2 DPS, and they're like matched with a 4 pool of players in like a single lobby. So you as a DPS have like way more chances to gain MMR than lose MMR, while as a healer you have more chances to get nothing or get something or lose something than DPSers. Like it's way more high variable. So it feels very bad. And you are more prone to drawing, because if a DPS is that much bad, you get 3-3. If a DPS is that much good, you get 3-3. So it really sucks. And I already gave it a lot of explanation on multitude of videos. And I think this video is one of the least ranty videos. I actually explain why it is bad right now in retail and how to fix it, and how the general population actually explains throughout the multiple Reddit and forum posts, throughout the videos that are posted, throughout player sentiment, and just full on go into retail, connect yourself, try to get into a 2k rated MMR like battle, and tell me how long the queue are as a DPS. Do an average, do 10 queues, and tell me what's the average queue time you have, and come back to me. If you're saying that you have like 5-minute queues, I'm going to call you bullshit, because that's not true. And I'm talking about like prime time hours. I'm not talking about like obscure 2 a.m. hours where people are like queuing up, half drunk, and there are like a few healers playing, and you have a few DPSers playing, so the queue times are like okay. It's not like on every single MMR range as well. Like it's really different. So I don't know. There is so much to fix. I don't think Midnight can fix that. There is no talk about it in Season 3. I want to play retail. Like, I really want to play retail. I want to, like, again, I miss arenas very bad. And maybe Miss Pandaria Classic is going to fix that for me. I do hope so. I want to play Miss Pandaria, just like whenever I'm not playing Miss Pandaria, I'm thinking about like the things that are like, do I really want to spend that much time on Miss Pandaria? It's more related to my content. It's more related onto my time, because again, I'm going to pour time into a classic expansion that is going to die eventually once TBC is out, once Classic Plus is out. I already know Miss Pandaria is going to die from that point. So do I want to spend that much time on a version that is going to be not everlasting? It would be nice that retail has like learnings from like the classic things. Classic is not perfect. Some things really sucks, but I think the MMR is not as bad as what we have right now in retail, even when the participation is low, because they have a percentile based rating system. Well, at least they had. I think Miss Pandaria and Cataclysm doesn't have that, but anyways, there's a lot of things that they could learn from the past, where PvP was at its best, and then what we have at retail, which is post Legion, has always been dreadful or like insanely good. Like it's like always going to be like this. And Shadowlands, even though people didn't like it, the inflation at one point in Season 2 was chef's kiss. People liked it, people played it. Season 1 PvEers were playing because of the trinkets and because of the weapon. There's all things that we can say about Shadowlands, but the participation was really high in 3v3. And Dragonflight Season 1, like Soul Shuffle, they did it really good, and then they nerfed something which kind of destroyed everything that they built for Dragonflight, and that really sucks. And they didn't like came back with the royal thing, like they still stayed at that point for healers. And anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.